What if I told you there was a speedrun that rewarded you for playing terribly? That's right, the worse you played, the faster you could go. Well, I found that out a few months ago when I entered a speedrunning event called Speedromizer. Now this event is quite different than normal speedrunning events because the game that you submit is not the game that you will end up running. In Speedromizer, your name and game get entered into a random lottery, and 90 days before the event, your name is going to be picked at random with a random game that was submitted. And whatever game gets picked with your name, you now have 90 days to learn that game and speedrun it on the day of the event. And for whoever was assigned your game that you submitted, you now act as a coach to help and guide them through the speedrun. Now there are a lot of cool games submitted to this event, a lot of famous speedrunning games you may recognize like Super Mario Odyssey, Spyro, Mirror's Edge, Minecraft, Portal 2, and Super Meat Boy. And with a games list like that, needless to say, I was excited and a little scared about what I might get. Would it be a shooter? Would it be a platformer? What kind of crazy movement tech would I have to learn, or insane glitches in the out of bounds categories? So the day finally came for the lottery, my name was pulled, and the game that I would be playing and learning for the next 90 days was...
Well then, you are learning Go Vacation.
Go Vacation. Now, I had never heard of this game before, so if, like me, you were thinking, that kind of sounds like a weird old Wii Resort knockoff, you would be correct. If your immediate next thought, like me, was, oh god, does this game have motion controls, you would be correct. And if your final thought, like me, was, well, at least this game came out a long time ago, it's probably only like $10 at most on the Nintendo store, you would be incorrect. This game was released in 2011, and over 10 years later, it is still $50 fucking dollars. But after emptying my wallet, my worries would soon melt away when I watched a speedrun for the game and realized that the key to getting a fast time in Go Vacation is not how well you can play the minigames, it is how fast can you fail them. Go Vacation is a Bandai Namco game released in 2011, about 2 years after Wii Resort was released. And it was seen as essentially a spiritual successor to that game, trying to go bigger in every regard. The game boasts a total of 50 minigames, as well as an actual overworld to traverse between these minigames. In fact, there's 4 different resorts on the island. There's a mountain resort, a city resort, a snow resort, and a marine resort. You start the game in the marine resort, travel around looking for NPCs that will initiate these minigames for you. And once you've played enough of these minigames, you start to unlock the other resorts. The game tracks your progress by giving you a stamp for each minigame that you complete. Now, the category I had to run for the speedrun event was called Villa Percent, because after receiving 20 stamps for the minigames, you unlock a villa that your character can visit and decorate. But the key word here is play minigames. The game only checks to see if you've actually completed these minigames, not if you've completed them to a certain standard or you've gotten first place or anything like that. So as you can imagine, for most of these minigames, it's actually faster to fail them rather than try to win. So with only about 2 weeks of practice, here's a look at how, like myself, you could get a top 10 run. Now, the 20 minigames that we need to complete can be broken down into varying degrees of how terribly we need to play. Starting at the most involved, these are minigames that you will actually have to learn how to play and how to do well at them to complete them in a fast manner. Essentially just like a normal speedrun. These include the turtle minigame, where you'll want to pick the best path given the turtle RNG to find 6 turtles as fast as possible. The snowball fight minigame, where you'll want to get good at hitting your opponents, waiting for their hit stun immunity to wear off, and possibly dodging by reloading your snowball count. And the golf minigame, where you'll want to be quick about switching to your strong club, aiming, and going for the correct amount of power on your swing. That is as difficult as it gets though. The next 17 minigames get progressively more and more brain dead. The next category are games that you still have to complete as intended, and you'll probably want to finish them fast, but you don't necessarily need to beat any specific time. These are all of the racing games like the jet ski race, the dog sled, and the skating race. Then we have the games where the fastest way to complete them is by completely ignoring what the game actually wants you to do. These are games like the ski race, where you'll ignore all of the goalposts you're supposed to ski through in favor of skiing the straightest possible line to the finish. The paragliding game, where you'll similarly miss all of the rings you're supposed to fly through in order to set up a quick turn into the final goal. And the ski park, where instead of trying to hit as many sick jumps and rail grinds as possible, we're going to ski in a straight line right past everything straight to the finish. Then we have minigames where you truly want to play just terribly because it'll get you out of the minigame very fast. This includes the rail grind minigame, where instead of balancing on this rail for as long as possible, we're just gonna hold hard left after getting on it to fail the game immediately. This baseball game, where instead of hitting the baseball straight through these breakable walls, you either want to swing early and get foul balls, or just miss completely to end the game. This ice fishing game, where instead of waiting for a bite and catching a fish, you'll just mash the A button the whole time to cast and reel to blow through the fish bait as quickly as possible. And finally, the punch game, where you're intended to build up power before punching, but we'll just mash A to punch right away and fail the game. Then we have what I called the hold forward minigames, which are pretty self-explanatory. These include the ATV jump, the snowmobile jump, and the big ski jump, where you're supposed to go for high air time and pull off a lot of tricks, but you guessed it, we're just gonna hold forward. And the final category, at the pinnacle of brain damage, we have the do absolutely nothing games. The ball game, which I call the 7th inning stretch, because for about a minute and a half you can completely put down the controller, grab a drink, eat some food, maybe finish writing that novel or watch the end of a Netflix episode, because there is literally nothing to do. And my personal favorite of these games is the surfing minigame, where similarly, after initiating the beginning of the game, we're going to do absolutely nothing. But this minigame always cracks me up because your avatar just has this completely blank and naive look the whole time. And I like to imagine your surfing instructor has spent like an hour teaching you how to surf, and then he's watching you go out there to catch a big wave and you just... All right, remember how to paddle, right? You know, when the wave is coming, right before it comes, you're gonna start paddling really fast, okay? Okay, I feel like you weren't paddling that much that time. You remember we just spent like an hour paddling. Okay. Yeah, I feel like you're not really listening. Are you even hearing anything I'm saying? What are you looking at? What are you looking through me? I don't understand. Anyways, if you've completed those mini games and you've done a pretty good job of memorizing the order of them, and you're relatively quick at mapping out in between these mini games, you should be on pace to getting your top 10 time as you head into the final and most emblematic mini game of this whole speedrun. Snowman making. You are tasked with creating the most beautiful snowman you can. Stack snowballs and add accessories. Create something artistic, monumental, and timeless for all the residents of the island to gaze in awe. Create something that Yeah, but like, what if we just like stacked 2 snowballs on top of each other and like that was it? You know, like what if we, like, no accessories, not even like a third snowball that's like the head, like no face, no arms, just like 2, just like quickly, just 2 fucking snowballs, just 1, 2. I mean, like, what if we did that? I mean, at this point, yeah, fuck it, let's just do that. And that's a speedrun of Go Vacation, folks. If you're a speedrunner and you need a break from that super intense game you're trying to get world record on, maybe check out Go Vacation. And also check out Speedromizer. It's a really fun event for a great cause. It's cool to learn a new skill. I know I certainly am going to be submitting to the next one for sure. And as always, if you liked the video, consider subscribing, leave a like, and I'll see you on the next one.